Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Cozy Rogers. Welcome to Spec Ops The Line, arguably one of the most underrated games of all time. Although, according to some, also the most overrated game of all time. So kind of unique in that aspect. Depends on you either it's kind of either love it or hate it kind of a game. I personally love it. That's why I'm playing it. Obviously, I can appreciate the story. I don't want to go too much in depth to it before we even start. I haven't played it before. This will be my second time through. So apparently, I've heard there's a lot of things that you don't notice the first time through that you will notice the second time through. So that's why I kind of wanted to play again. So we'll see whether that's true. And right off the bat here, we can see we kind of see where the game is based in the city of Dubai. Interestingly, it was banned in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, because it was based in a desolate city of Dubai that was supposedly desecrated the honor of the city or whatever it did. Basically, they didn't appreciate it, and ironically enough, I think that actually damages the reputation more than the video game would have. But that's just me. So what do we have? The starting screen here. One thing about this game is that the detail is very important. So I'm probably going to be going through very slowly, not rushing through it or anything like that when at all possible. There's just so much detail in the game that it's hard with the fast-paced style of the gameplay to like stop and look at everything, but you'll be rewarded if you do, for the most part. So let's just take a look while we have a little, this is one of the few slow moments that we'll have going for us here, where nothing's going on. So we get a chance to look at some stuff here. And you see the city of Dubai in the background here. This is supposed to be the Burj Khalifa, I think, but it's not. At least it doesn't look like it to me. The model does not look like the Burj Khalifa in real life, so I don't know, maybe there was some copyright issues and they had to make their own really tall tower to put in there. I'm not sure, but this is supposed to represent the Burj Khalifa, I'm pretty sure. And actually, you have this image of the tower here. God, look at the difference in the size of the buildings. Even these look like towers down here. But then you have this thing that towers above them, and that thing that towers above everything. Kind of reminds me of like a Citadel in Half-Life 2, honestly. But it's actually real in real life. Burj Khalifa is the tallest building in the world, because you didn't know. We have the upside-down American flag here, which is symbolizing distress, basically FUBAR situation, and we'll find out why once we start the game. I don't want to talk too much ahead. Let's take a look at some of the menus, because I think they're pretty cool too. I don't want to miss them out. Let's see. Campaign. I restarted everything, made a new profile, all that kind of stuff, just so that I could get this initial screen, because as you go through the game, everything changes. The entire tone of the game will change as you advance in chapters, and this entire starting menu will be different. I don't know, I might, like between levels, I might make a video for each chapter, and then at the end, I'll come back and the next video will show how the starting screen has changed. Anyways, let's go to select chapter here, and we can see this is kind of a unique take on the map too. We only have one level unlocked right now, but as we go we'll unlock more. It's kind of like, if you remember the classic Doom games, you have a kind of a little overview of the surface of Mars, and you can select a building. You know, if you play Doom, you know how that works, and that's kind of the same way that this works. You get a little model. I think it's kind of cool how they did that here, because the story of the game is the city of Dubai has been kind of destroyed by some cataclysmic sandstorms of, never before seen proportions. Basically, everyone's been buried alive. So, which is fucking terrible when you think about it. So here we have like a little model of the city that we'll work our way through, and the model has actually been like blown in also, the same way as the city has with the sandstorm. So I thought that was pretty cool. So without further ado, let's get in here before I bore everyone. New game. I'm gonna play on Combat Op, I think, because I could play on Suicide Mission, but from my experience on that difficulty, some enemies can take 2 or 3 shots to the head and not die. So that kind of that's kind of a game breaker for me when you have so many enemies coming at you. So I'm just gonna go to Combat Op. Now we have a little like seamless entrance into the game, which I think was awesome also. Now we're probably going to get some lag, because my computer is not top-notch. I have all the settings down to the minimum, so I can play it fine normally, but recording it is pushing it. So I have to talk about some of the story in this scene though, because this is actually very important, even though it's so early on. We'll see this scene. This is going to be, you know what? No, I don't have to talk about it yet. I'll talk about it after the scene is over. So for now, let's just try to survive. This is kind of a set piece. So it's kind of an on-rail shooter little portion here, just kind of a cinematic intro so they can get the credits rolling. And kind of so they could establish the setting as high-tempo action game kind of style, which is not what this is. This is actually a deconstruction of the military shooter, which it's the only deconstruction that I know about at present. So that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of deconstructions of any kind. Oh, what a beautiful setting, though. Even though I'm on the lowest graphics settings, this is still really cool. Melvin, what's that say? Melvin something rather. I don't know if I can actually die in this section. I'm not sure. I've never actually done poorly enough to die. You can see them falling out of the helicopters and everything. Oh, what a cool city, though. There's the leaf a little bit closer, I think.
Just keep it steady.
So we can see the sandstorms kicking up here. Sandstorms were advertised to be a really major part of this game, and I guess they are. But the advertising for this game was just so misleading. Whoa, that sucks. Sucks to be you. Fight through a building, eh? Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And it like zooms in so you can see the pilot and everything before he gets, you know, kind of impaled by it. This is a brutal game all the way through. It's... Okay, so here we go. The game starts with this little scene, and we're gonna replay this scene. For the first like half of the game is gonna be a flashback from that scene to what happened before. And I guess I have to talk about one of the theories. It's kind of spoiler. I don't know, if you want to see the game blind without any spoilers, you can watch someone else if you want, I guess. But I have to, in order to do the game justice, I guess, talk about this now. So that the first half of the game is going to be a flashback, and then eventually we're going to play through that helicopter scene again. Hold on, let me talk here. Let him talk first.
Well, I don't know. There was this one time in Kabul when he dragged my bleeding carcass half a mile to an evac chopper. So maybe I'm biased.
I thought I had captions
But
enabled.
the facts don't lie. The man's a fucking hero. Remember when the first storms hit Dubai? You're probably all safe and sound at home watching TV. Well, Conrad was leading the damn 33rd out of Afghanistan. Instead of coming home, he volunteered his entire battalion to help with the evac. Yet all you did was send a check. Rumor is Conrad was ordered to abandon the city. He defied that order.
So a little bit of symbolism here. Sorry, I gotta talk over the scene a little bit. But this is actually
that the storms got worse, much worse.
This is Conrad right here.
Last thing we heard
Though we don't know it yet.
was that Conrad was leading a caravan of survivors out of the city. That was 6 months ago.
And this is actually going to be the last room in the game.
2 weeks ago, we picked up this transmission.
If you look at this balcony that he's on right now, if you remember that, we'll be there. We'll be there later. Might look a little bit different. Alright, so anyways, I don't know, maybe I have some time to talk, maybe not. Gotta try it. So flashback from the helicopter scene. First half of the game is kind of like flashback from them, and then we'll eventually play the helicopter scene again. And one theory is that the entire team actually dies in the helicopter crash, and everything after that is actually like Walker in hell. And you'll see what I mean later on.
No, sir. Then take it up the chain, Sergeant.
One thing,
Lieutenant Adams.
God, so much
Hey,
talking.
Sergeant.
So
What's
much
your
talking.
status?
I have to wait till after
Status
they
is
talk.
chafe, sir.
You say chafe, Sergeant?
Yes, sir. A local airborne insurgency has infiltrated the U.S. zone designated as my pants. Sir.
Shut up, jackass.
Gentlemen, welcome to Dubai.
Yep. It's still dead.
Yet to be seen, Sergeant.
You got a lock on that transmission?
Yes, sir. About 800 yards away.
And we're 800 yards away from seeing who's more full of shit. You or Intel?
Wow. If I wasn't a hardened killing machine, that might have hurt.
So one thing for anyone who has not played this game before that's watching this, please don't like jump out after the first. Wait, give it some time. It starts off really slowly, and it just looks like your standard shooter
All right, remember,
for like the
this
first
place
half of the
has
game.
been designated a no man's
But
land, which means we're not supposed to be here. So let's do this by the books, okay?
Roger, Dodger.
let me see if I can get captions. That's kind of important. Instead, I can't do gamepad. I don't have a gamepad installed. Controls, nothing there. Audio, subtitles on. There we go. Okay, that should be better.
Okay,
Um,
some cover.
Well, first thing, even though I love the game, I have to pick it apart a little bit. And all my interesting thingly about this game, all my little gripes can actually be explained through certain theories that I'll discuss as the game goes on. But well, first of all, where'd their goggles go? It showed them in the cutscene with goggles. But anyways, I was about to say they just walked in here through a sandstorm, and they had only goggles as face protection. Now they have nothing. You would send just like a Spec Ops team in here, or like an infantry team into a zone that's been torn up by sandstorms without any facial protection. So this is just a little tutorial section.
Any movement?
Learn how to play.
Nah,
I don't know, I might have to relearn how to play a little bit. It's been 2 years, I think, since I played it.
What happens
Now
if
this
you
looks
buy
so
space?
freaking cool. Look at this,
Come
and
on,
there's the
let's just
what's
find a way
what's
down.
that building called? Anyone
You got it.
know what that building's called? The Burj Al Arab or something? I forget exactly. It's a hotel right there, the one that's on the waterfront. And some of the bodies. We could just look at the skyline for a second here. Any buildings you recognize? See, that does not look like the Burj Khalifa to me. I've only seen pictures of it. I've never seen it in person, but I don't know. I think that's a fake building that they had to put in place for some reason. Probably some legal reasons. We got some military vehicles.
So this is what's left of the damn 33rd.
Command thinks otherwise, or we wouldn't be here.
Kind of mummified
Got
corpses
some rope
here.
over here.
That's
Let's put it to use.
pretty creepy right off the bat. Rope. We make our way down. I could actually kill one of my teammates here if I wanted to. You're not really held accountable. No. Well, you are held accountable. The game ends if you kill your teammate, but
Whee!
I'm actually
That's
allowed to
enough,
shoot them, which is
Lugo.
kind of nice.
We're just keeping it light, boss.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't need
well, this
light.
is weird.
Need you focused on the mission.
This is weird.
What
Usually,
mission? We're basically poking a
I
dead
remember there
dog
being
with a
like
stick.
goats over there that you could shoot, but there's
Yeah,
no
we're
goats
orders.
here this
Locate
time.
survivors, leave the city immediately.
I wonder if there's something that triggers them
Reinforce
that I
that
missed.
storm wall. Send in the cavalry. We go home.
So we're on a quick recon mission here.
Hey, did you guys hear that? You fucking with us? I am.
For some reason they couldn't send in the UAV drones. I'm just going to
Everybody here,
assume
man.
that it's because of the sandstorms for some reason.
I could have sworn I heard somebody.
Come on, let's just get
Check this out. They had their bus packed with all their luggage trying to leave the city. Look at all the luggage, man. Didn't make it apparently. I'm not sure why it suddenly fell apart. I don't know. Maybe people apply my own story to this, and maybe they were stuck in the traffic jam and people just wanted to move on foot, so they kind of broke it. Or they stopped their own bus and got out and started trying to get their luggage out and run for it. Yes, you can do that. Just in case you were wondering.
Hey, anyone out there? Doctor says what?
Leave it alone. No one's
And
out
you
there.
can't shoot the birds.
And what the fuck
Also,
are
in
we
case
doing?
you were wondering.
Lugo's got a point.
I love how they don't mind that I'm just shooting
Ready to
things.
take it his side now?
So
When he's right,
unprofessional.
he's right.
Hey, command wants us to look around. We look around.
I don't know. Sounds like a waste of 3 stone-cold, ruggedly handsome Delta operators such as ourselves.
Think of it as a paid vacation.
Well, for future reference, I prefer my
Sheikh
beaches
Sheikh
to the
Said
3-1
Road.
sexy lady dead
Okay.
body ratio.
Lugo, do you
I think that's
ever
an actual
actually
place
hear
that
the
rings a
shit
bell.
coming out of your mouth?
No, I
I
do
think
not,
that was the
sir.
first
I find
established
that this is
location in
irrelevant.
Dubai, like a hardcore established area in terms of skyscrapers and such. Again, my knowledge of Dubai is extremely limited. probably just a bunch of bullshit coming out of my mouth, but feel free to look it up. Better than nothing, I suppose.
You know, it does feel like we're being watched.
Yeah, that creepy music just kind of kicked in. The being watched music. And keep in mind once again that my settings are on the lowest, but it still looks decent, even though all the graphic settings are down.
It's a distress beacon, but it ain't
I think I'm running at a solid 25 frames per second, which is what I'm recording at, so it should work just fine.
No, not a fucking clue.
We got some intel right here we can pick up. I don't know where all of it is, but
My name is John Conrad, commander of the 33rd Battalion, husband of Elizabeth, and father of Jeremy. If you are reading this, the desertion of the 33rd is undoubtedly no longer a secret. I have failed my mission. Worse, I have failed my men. If any of them be found alive, let it be known that they are innocent. As their commander, I forced them under extreme duress to stay in Dubai. To disregard their orders, I alone am to blame.
so we can already see, for those of you who are more well, I don't want to say knowledgeable of of literature, I guess, but yeah, pretty much. You could probably already see the relations to Heart of Darkness or Apocalypse Now, which was based off Heart of Darkness, if you prefer movies. So Conrad, well, it's a direct relation, really. I think the Heart of Darkness, the author, is named Conrad. So this General John Conrad is actually named after the author of Heart of Darkness. So a not so subtle reference right there. So like, for those of you who haven't seen Apocalypse Now, what are you even? Why are you not watching that instead of this?
It is.
You kind of chase down the. Well, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it. If you've seen it, you've seen it. If you haven't, you should probably watch that before watching this to enhance the experience.
I think we're about to find out.
Because that is the inspiration for this game.
My name is Captain Martin Walker. We're looking for survivors.
Why? So you can kill us too?
So we got some.
Farsi? Maybe we can understand each other better.
I don't know who these people are yet. I do, but according to the story, I don't know yet. Apparently they're locals. I'm not sure why they speak Farsi, but
Push comes to shove, shoot out the windows. Might give us an advantage.
I think the most widely spoken language in Dubai is actually English. So I could just shoot them, but in order to demonstrate the mechanics, here we have an early use of sand. Use of sand in combat is supposed to be a big deal. It's really not. Half the times it's more handy to just shoot them yourself. Like, I get used to the controls again. A little bit slow for my liking. But managed to rack up some headshots there. I think these are actually the citizens, ex-citizens of the area that we're actually fighting now. So, I mean, the situation's already kind of foobar. Like, this was not supposed to happen. So we can command our squad here. This is an example of it. By hitting the middle mouse button, so kind of intuitive controls. You can command them to, like, stun and clear an area. They're actually very handy. The AI does not get in the way. It's never gotten in my way, actually. Sometimes it can do some stupid stuff, like stand out in the open. But for the most part, your AI is pretty good. Just kind of a little derpy intro to some mechanics here. And again, here's another order.
Lugo, take him out.
Yes, sir.
Blatantly scripted event there, but you know what? I'll take it. This is some interesting billboards. So again, this is not really a representative of the rest of the game. This is not the best part of the game. This is just standard shooter part, and it doesn't really do shooter as well as a lot of other games. So don't be turned off by what you're seeing like now in the first couple episodes of this series. If you haven't played this game before, it gets, you know, 100, 1,000 times better at the end, especially after the helicopter scene. After that is when it really picks up. But at the same time, you probably don't want to just skip to that part, because the rest of it is building up, you know, an atmosphere that it later on kind of combats or makes fun of. Now, one thing I don't get here is, like, why am I forced to kill this guy? You literally cannot move on with the game until you kill this guy. But see, you just melee him, he goes down again. Why can't I just disarm him or something? I can't. I'm not allowed to shoot. I just have to execute him. So this is one thing that's just dumb about the game right here. It's like the tutorial section forces you to do stuff that you don't want to do, especially in a game that's all about like your moral decisions. Or not your moral decisions per se. Another thing I should mention is that you don't really make all the choices here. There are a lot of moral decisions that are made, but mostly they're just made by the main character.
The hell
So
was that?
it's not as interactive as like the initial
I'm picking up a distress call.
hype
Patch
would
it
made it
through.
out to be. Even like the modern hype says it's all about the choices that you make and the consequences on the game. But there really aren't all that many consequences to your own actions, and it all turns out the same way. But it's more like watching an interactive movie, to be
About 100
honest.
yards away.
And if you approach it from that, you know, mindset, I think it's much more enjoyable. So that's just something to keep in mind. So it wants me to just like come out of cover and run for the next one here, which is stupid, but let's just do it. There we go, I've been shot, I'm now dead. Flank it? Fine. Let's wait till my randomly regenerating health regenerates. So very Gears of War, everyone who plays it I think touches on that. Feels a lot like Gears of War. The cover system does. Try to conserve ammo here, because ammo is pretty sparse. And a lot of times you'll have to switch weapons and such. This is actually a really good gun, the one that we start with. The problem is you run out of ammo really quickly, and you can't really use it throughout the entire game. So now we have like, already we have a little bit of a, you know, brutality here, in that we have people that just, you can finish them off, they're just kind of suffering and groaning on the ground dying. So it's kind of like you have mercy kill options.
Alpha, if you can hear me, we're approaching your position.
Also, in a developer interview, it pays to pay attention to the transitions. When the game transitions out into black,
Is
then
anyone else with you?
a developer suggested that means that this is like really what's happening. Whereas
Okay, stay cool. We're almost there.
if it transitions into white, that means that Walker, the main character, is kind of like deluding himself. It's a delusion, and this isn't really how it actually happened.
Might want to equip silencers.
Good call.
So interestingly, that was a fade to white. You can make of that what you will.
Target down.
Kill confirmed.
And you can see like this guy helping out his wounded comrade down there. So even now, when it's kind of a just a standard shooter kind of setting, it's still kind of humanizing the enemy a little bit, which is more than a lot of games do. Even though it's not really at its finest yet. Control system is clunky, gonna say that. Sometimes the space button doesn't respond the way you expect it to. Woohoo. So a little bit, you can kind of cheat the cover system a little bit, because you can just kind of peek out and you see exactly where your crosshair is. As you can see, like, what is Walker even doing there? How does he do that? Superhuman. Oh man. Alright, let's move on. Let's just unsilence this thing. I'm not sure if the silencer has any negative consequences or not. I'm not positive, but No point in having any more, that's for sure.
Hostile down!
He just does not even care that he just got shot in the leg. Kind of interesting. Shot you in the deer. Okay, enough of this. Hopefully they can cover me.
Running low! Gotta reload!
Crouching looks like it helps aiming a lot. I'll have to use that more often.
I got you covered!
So, by the way, look at this. This is freaking awesome. Just a crash plane in the middle of the desert. Again, the concepts behind the levels are amazing. I wanted to get the, maybe it's because I'm on low graphics, so I can record properly, but usually there's like a blood pool animation that comes out from it too that's actually pretty detailed. I think it actually simulates like the flow of blood, which is interesting. We got a shotgun there, AK. I still got enough ammo, surprisingly, for this.
They could be anywhere. In the doorway! Hostile, he's down!
Yep, he's down.
Tango down!
So we'll find out later, and there's like the standard switcheroo and everything like that, and I don't know if I should talk about things that we'll find out later, but
On our way! Hang tight!
oh shit.
Shotgun! He's moving up! Target down!
Anyways, you can already tell the mission is fucked, because our mission was to come in and recon and look for survivors, and now we found survivors and we're killing them all. Don't think that was part of the plan.
Target neutralized! Hostile down! You're gonna have to talk fast, boss. He's fading.
We're here to help. Just stay with me, all right?
Forgive me. Doug McPherson. You gotta find him.
We will, but I need you to tell me where they took him.
They took him to the nest.
Nest, all right, good. And what about Conrad? Is he still alive? God damn it. Lugo, mark the bodies on tack. Adams, check outside for tracks. I want to know what the hell is going on in this city.
No, you don't. But you'll find out.
Got multiple tracks headed north.
Then we follow him.
Which is kind of weird, since he found those tracks right in the middle of that area that we'd all been trampling on, like the battlefield. So that was impressive of him.
Not to argue, but this ain't exactly within our mission parameters.
Yeah, well, our mission went from recon to rescue the minute we found U.S. soldiers butchered.
It's not particularly
Fucking
true.
orders.
Like if you go into recon, generally you're supposed to be gathering information. We haven't really gathered enough information yet to report
Conrad's
back,
still alive.
right?
I think he is. I know he'd agree with me.
Tracks end here. Guess this is the nest.
Yeah, it's quaint. Very post-apocalyptic.
Just don't get cocky. Remember, these guys
You know what though? I missed an intel. Ah, darn it. Oh well. Basically, in the intel I missed, it was a little recording of, and I'm going to restart this level. I'm actually going to end the video here, and we'll start because this is the second. This is the second part, and presumably the intro string will have changed. We'll find out in the next episode. But basically, the intel that I missed was a recording of the audio that plane that we just fought through, their pilot and his co-pilot, and they were trying to escape the city. They've been paid extra by some high-ups, like politicians or whatever, in the city of Dubai, to fly out early, and they hadn't checked their systems or anything like that. And but as they fly out of the city, they get hit by the massive sandstorm, and that's how the plane crashed. So you get a little bit of story about how the plane crashed there. Maybe I'll play that recording at the beginning of the next episode. I'll go back and get it. But until then, hopefully you've enjoyed this first episode. Hopefully you'll enjoy the later episodes much more than these beginning episodes. So stick with me. kind of bear with me for these first ones here. And I'll see you next time.
You know we're here now.
Bye.